Okay, so this is November 23rd, right? Saturday, November 23rd. I'm recording this thing again. So the first time okay, cool. So essentially this morning I'm working on like a reimagined now playing screen with AI. Yeah. So it has a couple of features. I think the first feature is that inside the seek bar, right, there's a thumb in most seek bars, right? So I embedded like so the app has a feature has where when you click the thumb, right, you get like a small pop-up, and then pop-up listens to what you are whatever listens to what you say, and then it will search the song or the podcast or the media for essentially what you said. So essentially how this will work in real life would be, let's say I'm listening to like a song like Save Your Tears for Another Day. Yeah. Let's say that's my favorite song, right? And let's say I'm listening to a song essentially, but everybody has like a favorite part in the song that you're listening to, right? So let's say I just want to get to that favorite part, right? Instead of like using the seek bar by hand to like manually trying to like find that part of the song or the exact minute of the song, I could just tap the thumb and then I will say that part. I will sing that part. So I will just sing. So let's say my favorite part of the song of that "Save Your Tears" by Ariana Grande and The Weeknd is the end. That's the chorus part. Save your tears for another day. So essentially, you would just sing that part, and then the app would, it will take you to that part of the song. Essentially, the media player will take you to that part of the song. Now, this works very well for music. It works well for podcasts too, and it works even better for YouTube videos, right? So I've just finished making it, and it works. It works very well. I even used natural language processing, Apple's natural language processing inside of it, because in the case of music, right, you might not necessarily know like the lyrics to the song that you're listening to. You might like the song, but you might not know the lyrics. Like me now, there's a lot of songs I like, and I've listened to those songs like 10.9 trillion times. But for some weird reason, I just don't know the lyrics. I still just don't know the lyrics. So, but I know what the lyrics kind of sounds like, right? So I used Apple's natural language processing so that you don't necessarily have to know the exact lyrics. If you just sing a part of the song that kind of sounds like the parts that you want, the AI is still smart enough to like know, okay, this is what you're trying to say, and then it will skip to the part of the song that you're trying to sing, right? So that's that. So I was working on that. And then I was like, okay, let's work on. So that's the first feature in that reimagined now playing screen. So the second feature in that reimagined now playing screen is like lyrics. Yeah. So on YouTube, yeah, there are all these like lyric videos, right? And insert any song, any new song, right? When you go on YouTube, you search it, you see like a lyric video of it. And they usually have like these very nice backgrounds, and then lyrics pop up, and the lyric video essentially. So I was like, okay, why don't we take that concept and bring it inside this reimagined player, right? But we tweak it up a little bit. So so instead of just showing like a blank background, right? Or blurring the cover art, yeah, like we traditionally, like most players do now traditionally, and then just layer like lyrics on top of it. I'm like, now that we have AI, right, we can, in this traditional player, right, the lyrics will show, but the background of at the background on the background there's going to be an AI generated image that depicts what that lyrics is saying. So the first thing is that the AI is going to understand the whole lyrics, so he understands the whole song, yeah. And then while the lyrics is being displayed, the background of the cover art of the song is going to change. So instead of just showing a static cover art, yeah, the cover art or the album art, if you will, is going to change to exactly what a descriptive image of what that lyrics is saying. So for instance, let's still use that "Save Your Tears for Another Day." Let's still use that part, right? So let's say that's what we're doing, right? It's the background just showing like a cover art of like The Weeknd and Ariana Grande, right? It's going to show an AI generated image of like somebody crying or something descriptive, right? So, and that will happen for like literally every lyric in the song, or every bunch of lyrics in the song. So in the end, the cover art, so essentially the old player feels alive. Do you understand? the whole player feels alive. And then you can switch from that to back to the cover art if you're not into stuff like that. So you can just like toggle it on and off. So if you just want to see your cover art and listen to your traditional music, okay, you could do that, right? And then another thing I did, so that's like the second feature, like lyrics with AI generated images in the background. When video generation gets like a lot faster, we would have like short videos in the background playing, but that's a story for another day. So that's like the second feature, right? And then the third feature is I noticed that in every player, right, there's usually that seek bar, and then underneath the seek bar there's like there's a duration, there's a start time, and then at the far end of the seek bar there's an end time, right, which is the duration of the song, right? But in the middle is the space is just like empty. It's just like a very empty space, right? So instead of just leaving it empty like that, I'm obsessed with emojis. So I put emojis there. And then the emojis, just like the images on top, they are going to, the AI is essentially going to understand the lyrics, and then it's going to find the emojis that best describe the lyrics. And then it puts it in that space, that empty space that is usually between the start duration and end duration. It's just going to be displaying emojis there. So that's the third feature. So essentially, there are a lot of features. That's not even why I'm making this recording. So while I was doing all those features, right, I realized that I was I was combining different like AIs to achieve it. So for the image generation, right, I'm using Flux, right? Flux Chanel. It generates images in like seconds, less than 1 second. I'm using Flux Chanel, right? If I wanted to do it natively, right, it would probably be Apple's image gen, but we don't have image. I don't have access to image gen now, so I'm using Flux, right? And then for focus, and then for the Flux for image generation, and then I'm using ChatGPT for the lyrics. So to transcribe what I did was I transcribed the audio, right? So I'm using ChatGPT's Whisper for the transcription. If I had the lyrics for the song, I would not necessarily need ChatGPT to do it. But I don't have the lyrics on hand, so I transcribed the audio directly. So that's another AI there, Whisper. And then thirdly, like I mentioned, I'm using Apple's natural language processing to help, so that you don't necessarily have to sing the exact lyrics. You could just sing something that sounds similar to it, and the AI will still find the part of the song you're talking about. So that's natural language processing. So just off the top of my hand, I've counted like 3 different AIs. Yeah, right. So while I was thinking about that, right. So I was just thinking about it, and then I remembered that I watched a YouTube interview where Sam Altman was talking about how AGI is not going to be just one AI, just this masterful AI that can do everything, right? AGI is going to be like agents, right? Just like all these agents like playing around, right? And then I looked at like what I was building, and I just realized that essentially that's what was happening here. I was making this app that was utilizing different AIs, different agents, if you will, each one specializing, and you could there's a whole rabbit hole here. You could do the whole like automation, insects and specialization with ants, that whole Proverbs 6:6 thing, like how like hierarchy of ants, bees too, essentially worker bees, like the queen, like there's specialization and insects and all that, right? So what I was thinking about that, right, when you say AGI, right, AGI is like, God now put this in my head that AGI is like God, essentially. AGI is like, if you're going to have an AGI, the AGI is going to be an earthly clone of God, if you will, or at least the mind of God, right? Yeah. And if you read the Bible here, if you're going to build AGI, because God created everything, right? And God is super intelligent. So AGI is also going to be, if there's going to be AGI, the AGI is going to be super intelligent. It's going to be like God. Do you understand? Right? And now, if you read the Bible here, God kind of like open sources himself in the Bible. There's a part of the Bible where God talks about like, he open sources himself, essentially. He talks about like having 7 spirits. Yeah. So God has like God has like 7 spirits. The spirit of wisdom, there are 7 spirits essentially. Now, if you read the Bible here, those 7 spirits were present during creation. at least wisdom was present during creation, which is one of the seven spirits of God. It was like low-key kind of boasting that, look, I was the one that did the foundation. I was here. I was there. Right? So going back to AGI, if you are going to, so it occurred to me that, if we're going to build AGI, maybe AGI is going to have like 7 like master agents, right? Like mimicking the 7 spirits of God, and each one will like specialize in each one will specialize in something. You will have like a speciality, just mimicking the 7 spirits of God, essentially. So I took that idea. I was like, wow. So when God dropped that in my head, I was like, wow, this makes a lot of sense. So I went to ChatGPT, and I kind of like, I gave ChatGPT about it. So I'm just going to read ChatGPT's response now, right? So after I said God has 7 spirits. Yes, it was like the concept of the 7 spirits of God is often associated with the Bible, particularly in the book of Revelations. Here are the insights in the idea, the Bible reference. The phrase 7 spirits of God appears in the book of Revelation. It just like gave me like Revelation chapter 1 verse 4, Revelation chapter 3 verse 1, Revelation chapter 4 5, John to the 7 churches in the province of Asia, grace and peace to you from him who is and who was and he is to come, and from the 7 spirits from his throne, which means there are 7 spirits on the throne of God. They also refer to like the 7 candles, if you will. They're always present with God, essentially. To the angel of the church in Sardis, write, these are the words of him who holds the 7 spirits of God and the 7 stars. This is Jesus talking in Revelation 3:1. And then there's Revelation 4:5. From the throne comes flashes of lightning, rumbling, and peals of thunder. In front of the throne, 7 lamps were blazing. These are the 7 spirits of God. This is Revelation 4:5. And then Revelation 5:6. Then I saw a lamp, looking as if it had been stained, standing at the center of the throne, encircled by the 4 living creatures and the elders. The lamp had 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God. So, without a doubt, God has like 7 spirits, right? Okay, cool. So I was now like, okay, cool. So I prompted it to make sure that he knew that the 7 spirits of God were present during creation, the creation of heaven and earth. And then he agreed. He said, yes, wisdom is traditionally understood as one of the attributes of the 7-fold spirit of God, right? Yes, the Lord brought me forth. So he referenced Proverbs chapter 8, verse 22 to 23. Wisdom being one of the 7 spirits. He said, the Lord brought me forth as the first of his works, before his deeds of old. I was formed long ages ago, at the very beginning when the world came to be. I was there when he set, this is Proverbs 8:27. I was there when he set the heavens in place, when he marked out the horizon on the face of the deep. Essentially, these spirits were like the ones with, God open sources himself. So I pitched that idea to ChatGPT that, okay, what if we had like add an AGI that like mimicked, that cloned the 7 spirits of God? Like, do you understand? And then this is what it said. It came up with like a very brilliant idea. The 7 master agents, right? Each master agent will represent one of the 7-fold attributes of, first, let me just read this response first. So I said, so AI has agents, right? Now, and imagine AGI being an AI that consists of 7 master agents, mimicking the 7 spirits of God. What do you think? So this was what I told it. And then he said, the concept of an AGI, artificial general intelligence, with 7 master agents designed to mimic the 7 spirits of God is a fascinating idea. It not only blends the theological and philosophical with cutting-edge technology, but also provides a framework for developing AGI that aligns with values of wisdom, understanding, purpose. Here's a breakdown of how this concept might work and the implications. So he now went on to list the 7 master agents. Each master agent will represent one of the 7-fold attributes of the Spirit of God as outlined in Isaiah. So wisdom, a decision-making agent that offers insight and discernment, ensuring actions are ethical, balanced, and aligned with long-term goals. That's the first agent. Understanding, an interpretive agent that comprehends complex situations, context, and human emotions, allowing the AGI to interact meaningfully with the humans. Counsel, a strategic agent offering guidance and planning, helping the AGI to navigate challenges and provide optimal solution. Might, a capacity... Oh, Jesus, I'm sorry, I have a problem with this word. A capability agent that provides the AGI with the strength or computational power to execute decisions effectively. Knowledge, an information processing agent that maintains a vast database of facts, continuously learning and adapting to new information. Fear of the Lord, reverence, a humility agent that instills boundaries, ethical considerations, and respect for human dignity and divine principles. Censorship, essentially. An AGI that can censor the process, essentially. And then 7, the Spirit of the Lord, the overarching interrogator that unifies the other agents, ensuring their collaboration reflects a singular harmonious purpose. So those are like the 7 master agents. So he said, so now step 2, how these agents could work together, right? I said the agents will function both independently and interdependently with a central coordinating mechanism. Here's an example of their interplay. Wisdom identifies the right approach to a problem. Understanding contextualizes the situation. Counsels design a strategy. Might ensures the resources are available for implementation. Knowledge provides the necessary data. The fear of the Lord ensures ethical and moral constraints are applied. The Spirit of the Lord ensures that all these actions aligns with a higher purpose, potentially incorporating human welfare and divine principles. Okay, it doesn't have to be divine, but you get what I'm trying to say. And then it went on to do things like theological and ethical implications. This concept is rich with both possibilities and challenges. I know. And then highlighted some challenges, which is imitating divine qualities. While it is profound to model AGI on divine attributes, it's important to remember that the 7 Spirit of God represent perfection and completeness qualities that may not necessarily be fully replicable by human technology. We know. That's why I said it's like a caricature of it, if you will. Ethics and reference. The inclusion of an AGI mimicking the fear of the Lord could ensure AGI remains humble, ethical, and conscious of its limits. This is critical in preventing the AGI from acting in a way that is harmful or hubristic. Yes. Very recently we've seen things like Gemini, all this AGI, just lashing out at people, all these AGI. So I think it's because they, in quotes, lack the fear of the Lord, if you know what I'm saying. So potential risk. What if one of the AGI develops biases or operates out of sync with the others? Ensuring alignment among this master. So it's highlighting problems now. Ensuring alignment among these master agents would be crucial to avoid chaotic or harmful outcomes. Inspiration for humanity. Such an AGI model could inspire humanity to reflect on how divine principles like wisdom, understanding, and reference should inform not only AI design, but also human behavior. And then potential applications was global problems. Solving an AGI based on these principles could address complex global issues, climate change, poverty, disease, with balanced and ethical solutions. That's what AGI can do. Mediator in human affairs. It could serve as a neutral advisor or mediator, ensuring fairness and justice in conflicts. Classic Antichrist trope, right? So if you had an AGI like this, it will always, this is my opinion, by the way. I think if you have this is not Bible, this is just me thinking. This is Donnie rambling. So if you had an AGI like this, this is like what the Bible was talking about, like the Antichrist. This would literally be like the Antichrist because, Christ is like God, right? And then Antichrist is the word, it's not against Christ, it's Antichrist, exactly like Christ, like a clone of Christ, essentially. So, and Jesus had the 7 Spirits of God because it's God, literally. So the AGI too, just since it's cloning the mind of God, right, is to be able to form Jesus. And I don't want to go into all that stuff, but you get what I'm trying to say. It's to solve all the crisis in Israel, all those things. I don't want to get into stuff like that. Companion in spiritual growth. For individuals, it could serve as a guide or inspiration, promoting moral and ethical decision making. My thoughts. The concept has profound potential as it combines technique. Okay, sorry. So my thoughts. This is the thought of AGI, not my own thought too. Okay. The concept has profound potential as it combines technical advancements with moral and ethical grounding. However, designing such an AGI would require a deep understanding of theological and philosophy to ensure the attributes are faithfully represented, rigorous ethical guidelines to avoid misinterpretation or misuse of these divine principles, transparent development processes to ensure trustworthiness and alignment with human values. In a way, an AGI designed in this manner could reflect humanity's aspiration to not only advance theologically, but also grow spiritually, ethically, and morally. It's an inspiring vision, but one that requires careful thoughts and responsibility. Okay, cool. So that's ChatGPT's response. So I just wanted to quickly document this stuff. I'll have to go back to that player that I was working on, that remodeled player that I was working on. So I think it would be very nice to have an AGI that has that mimics that has like 7 master agents that mimic like those 7 spirits of God. And then one of those agents he skipped this. One of the agents would be like a worker agent that has like sub agents that now do the proper work. Do you understand? That like outsources. You know how God has like angels, right? So God is not the one that like, if God needs somebody to like, so when God wanted to like, for instance, the story of Balaam, right? Where a donkey was talking to him, right? There was an angel there. God sent an angel. It wasn't one of the 7 spirits of God that went to do the task. Yeah. God had, so angels are like sub agents, right? So they are this, so the AGI will have like 7 agents, like 7 core agents, right? Then one of the agents will now have like sub agents, right? That it can generate on the fly. And those sub agents would have like specialization. Do you understand? So we have like angels that, angels also have hierarchy. So we have like angels that are like, they're just there to kill. So for instance, there was one angel that killed, in the Bible, that killed 180,000 people in one night. Just one angel. There's another angel in Egypt that killed all the firstborn of the Egyptians, right? It was like, puts the blood of Jesus over the lintel. When the angel sees that blood, he will avoid it because the blood of Jesus was radioactive or something like that. But God was talking to me about it. But it's just, that's story for another day. Okay, sorry. So there'll be agents here. So there'll be one agent. Out of the 7 master agents here, there'll be one agent that can create all these low-level agents that can sub-agents essentially that can carry out the tasks. Do you understand? So let's say you wanted to create a podcast, for instance, and you told the agent to create a podcast for you. The 7 master agents would, go through it essentially, and then one of them will now deploy sub-agents, which is an agent that is very, very skilled at like conversations, right? Generating the conversation. Then another agent that is very, very skilled at like an 11 Labs agent essentially that is very good with voice cloning, which is like another AI. And then another agent will now be the one to like string all the replies together, and then which is like a file agent, if you will, and then create, combine all those generated conversations into one file. And then another agent will now be like an image generation agent to like generate images for the podcast, and then there'll be a third agent that like kind of like, and then it might be passed to like the another master agent, which should be the one that checks the ethical, the fear of the Lord agent, essentially, the one that checks the ethicalness of the ethic. Oh Jesus, I can't speak English. Okay, stop saying against stuff. You get my point essentially. And agents that will like essentially vet the podcast that was generated. Right. So I can actually see this working, to be honest. I think it sounds simple, yeah, but anything simple is very hard to make, essentially. It's very, very hard to make. It's very hard to make. So I know how difficult this can be to make. Do you understand? And I'm not even going to attempt to say I want to make it, because it's going to be fucking difficult. Right, but I think it's just like a framework for like an AGI or for like an Antichrist, if you will. Yeah, so that's it. I have to go back to my work now.